Thank you all for coming today. It's a real honor for me to have all of you here today. I'm going to put in the chat here something different. This is going to be a very different type of event today. Instead of slides, we're going to do this live. We're going to do this almost as if this was a real event. And so in the chat, there is a page. It's a NowSite page. It's a company that is actually partially patronizing this event today. All of the speakers who are going to be speaking today are on this page. Very few of these speakers are actually going to be having PDF files. They're going to be doing this live as if we were doing a real presentation. So please look on the PDF to see who's going to be speaking. You can click on every single person there. It will take you to their LinkedIn account. So there's no reason to be going and asking for people's information. The QR behind me takes you also directly to that page. Okay. So thank you all for coming. The reason that we're all here is to prove that money is not that music is not a charity. Music can be a very, very lucrative business. And the way it can be a lucrative business is if musicians and business people start working together to make this possible. Because I want to ask you guys a question. Who likes classical music? What's the target market for me?
I.
Hi. What's the target market for a classical musician? What type of person do we want to come to a classical music concert?
Movie writers. I don't know. Script.
I suppose somebody who.
Go ahead. Somebody.
I suppose somebody who appreciates music.
Mm-hmm. Let's pick ages and education. It's usually like people of 40 and over, very upper middle class.
Professional, well-educated, disposable income, wanting special experiences with similar people.
Exactly. What type?
So many of them are clients and suppliers of.
Yep.
Sorry.
They're business owners. 90% of them are business owners, or they're very high up in a company chain. What type of clients are we looking for as business people?
Same.
The same.
Same.
And so I'm going to show you guys something, okay? If you could pin me so you see this actually bigger. That's an orchestra here in Mexico. Okay? That orchestra has 47,000 people on their Facebook page. They have 2 concerts a month. Between 10 and 20,000 people see the concerts twice a month. How much is that type of publicity worth? And in the physical world, in the real world, the people who go to those concerts twice a month, 2,400 people go, and they wait outside the concert hall. And some people don't even get in. And this is the first time that they've actually used a type of publicity like this. And so this is what we're here today to discuss. This has almost never been done with an orchestra. And this orchestra still quite doesn't know how to use the publicity that they're getting. So imagine all of the people here who are marketers. What could you do with material like this? And the people who have businesses who are looking for this type of client, what could you do with a captive audience, literally a captive audience for 2.5 hours sitting there watching publicity like that? Okay, so with that, I'd like to welcome our first speaker. Colin, would you like to be our first speaker today? Can't hear you?
Sorry, I was muted. Yes, I can be. So I just speak without any visual, correct?
You can. You're the exception to the rule, I really think. So you could share.
You'd have.
There's a bit of echo.
There you go.
Okay, let me just. Sorry, you caught me a bit.
Okay, let's
Yeah, will you put
Let's do
somebody else
something
on and I'll go second? Thank you.
Okay, very good. Lee, would you like to, let's do something here. I put people in an order on the page. Let's go in the order that's on the page. Okay, so Lee, you're up.
Thank you,
I'd
Kathy.
like to go first.
So so it's just, I suppose, by the seat of your pants. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
So
No,
Kathy's-
actually, Lee, 1 second. Please tell us about the sponsorship, about Ascentive first, and then, yeah.
Ascentive is an organisation that works for entrepreneurs to help them have basically the business they want and the life they want. So it's not about work-life balance; it's about the work-life equilibrium. Getting people to move out of their comfort zones, beyond the fear, beyond the doubt, beyond the control of sort of organic life and business. People build their business up from really a one-woman or a one-woman man band, and they build it up, and then they get to it. And when they get it to where they want it to go, and they want to go to the next level, they don't know how to let go. They don't know how to delegate. They don't know how to lead, because it was hard enough to lead themselves, and now they've got to lead from themselves. What do I delegate? What do I don't? So in Ascentive, it's about business people being together all at different levels. And rather than going through that school of hard knocks journey, trying to learn everything yourself, you're around people that are all at different places. Some have got businesses that are in the millions. Some have got businesses that are just starting out. And we utilize that combined wisdom. We transfer skill sets very quickly. And we take all the unnecessary stuff away, because many of us, most of us, have been on that learning journey most of our life. And some of the stuff we've learned, we're never going to use. So what Ascentive is about is taking the fundamental wisdom of what you need to give you that life of equilibrium, family, and business to the highest standard. And it's not as in millions and millions. If that's where you want to go, that's perfect. It might just be a bit like what we're doing here. How do we utilize our wisdom between us? That collaboration. None of us have got the answer, but all of us together might find the answer. So that's what Ascentive does, brings good people together. They're supporting and sponsoring the event today. I work with the global team and the Irish and UK team to help bring good people, business entrepreneurs together to create a phenomenal life.
And
So
before you start speaking, Lee, that's what patronage is. What you just felt is what patronage is. And what type of audience did Lee just have? And just imagine 2,000 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people, just like that, opening a concert and saying something like that. And before Lee starts talking, this patronage is an idea that I've started a few years ago. It's a retroactive patronage. So there's no money involved right now. If there's a sale afterward, then the musicians get a part of it. But it's a mutual risk. It's a mutual risk so that we're not a money bucket. This is something that just has to stop. Music is not a charity. It's a really great way to get to people just like you. So with that, I'll hand it over to Lee the person, so you can talk about what you think about all of this.
thank you, my friend. How long have I got to speak, Kathy? Do you know? Or
3-5 minutes.
that's perfect. So imagine, a lot of people talk about the box, thinking outside the box. So just imagine there was no box. Just imagine all the things you've learned, and that glass ceiling. Bear in mind, it's a glass ceiling. It's not real. It's just what we put in our imagination. Where when it comes to musicians or artists, sometimes we think about them struggling, the struggling artists like Picasso or even Leonardo da Vinci. How wealthy was he? They're a rare breed, very unique breed. How do we, in our minds, in that box, change how we value them? They're very unique species, very authentic, and in many ways they feel they have to probably compromise to succeed. They want to do what they want to do. They want to express themselves, whether that be through art, music, dance, but then they have to compromise what they do. So the idea today is that it's not compromise, it's collaboration. It's unity. How can we take our skills, our business wisdom, and not tell them what to do? Just come up with authentic, real, genuine, sincere ideas that will enable them to not compromise who they are and give up their gift and move them beyond, say, in some areas, a survival mindset, as in paying the rent, keeping the bills paid, the electricity on. How do we get them to a standard where they're getting the support and they're not seen as a charity? So I think from Kathy and I, we do loads of stuff together. Through brainstorming it through, what Kathy's looking for, and this is what is no slides today, is that freedom, that authenticity of who you are, and not being concerned about what we think about what you say. It's your voice we need to hear. It's your idea we need to hear. There's no such thing as a bad idea, no such thing as a silly question. The only thing I think we're looking for from today is that we treat each other as human beings and we don't put each other in a box or score each other. It's just about that authenticity and pulling together to create a dynamic, powerful change across the world for artists, musicians, and the arts. So I'm Lee Tunnyware, and that's me.
Thank you so much, Lee. If you'd like to connect with Lee, all you have to do is click on his picture in the page that we've sent out there. And the other patron for this concert is NowSite, which is it's an unlimited marketing platform. It's an unlimited web page platform. I made that page that you see in front of you in, I think, 25 minutes. So this is a new way to do this. Before we go on to YP Lai, who's going to be our next speaker, I'd like to say to those of you who aren't musicians, it's a little stressful when you have the camera completely on yourself, right? This is how we live. This is exactly how we live. And one time it was rather daunting in a concert. The public said to me, "No, Kathy, you have to be there because we love to chuckle at your Spanish." So, you know, to have someone say that to you, this is how we live. This is who and what we are. We sell ourselves. We are the product, which is a very, very different way of looking at things. So it's a very special and unique, as Lee was saying. So with that, I'd like to turn you all over to YP. YP, are you there? And you have right to share the screen.
Okay. So thanks, Gary, for having me here. And yeah, we were chatting with together, and we were saying, you know, what should YP talk about? And then both of us came up with this topic: caviar, business, and classical music. You all must be wondering what this topic is all about, isn't it? So this is like three discrete things, and I want to weave them together. And I want this to be really, really interactive. So if you don't mind, you know, I'm going to ask you for responses, and you can either unmute yourself to, you know, say it out, or you could type it into your chat box. Okay. So let's start with caviar. So what do you want most in your life? Okay, can you just type it out into the chat box, so you can unmute yourself and say, you know, it may be caviar, it could be something else. What do you want most in your life? Okay, so Kathy, can you help me shout out what are the things people have been typing in?
Freedom, happiness, security. Sure. Contentment,
Okay.
financial freedom.
Okay, good. Yeah. You know, I've been asking these questions for quite a long while, and the standard answers we get are usually this. Okay, more time with family. Okay, so how many of us can identify with that? Yeah. To have the freedom, okay, and just feel free, you know, to be able to go on vacations, on holidays without, you know, looking at the clock, looking at the calendar, just go for long holidays with the people that you enjoy being with most, okay? For some of us, you know, what we want most in life is to be able to serve the community, to be able to help lots more people. For some, you know, they just want to chase their passion, you know. I've got a, so some of us here are BNI members. I remember having a BNI member who's a lawyer. but actually her passion is not law. You know, the law business that she has is just to put food on the table. But what she looks forward every night is to go and do ballroom dancing. That's a passion, okay? Right. And then for some of us, you know, what we want most in our life is peace, time for ourselves, okay? So yeah, if some of these things resonate with you and there's some of the things that you want most in your life, type a yes in there, okay? And the next question I'm gonna ask you is, how important are these things to you? 1 being not very important, 10 being really, really important, okay? So if it's a yes answer, type a number into the chat box. And Kathy, for some reason, I'm not seeing the chat box. Can you help me just to
Of course.
shout out, okay?
Okay,
Yep.
there's a ton of yeses.
Okay. And what sort of numbers are people putting in there?
8, 10s, a lot of
Okay.
10s. Equilibrium, 8, 10, yeah.
Okay. So I guess the next question is a bit more challenging, isn't it? Okay. So are you enjoying all of these things now? Okay. If all of these things are important to you, are you enjoying all of this now? Okay. So it's a yes or a no answer. Okay.
Nose.
A lot of no's.
Yep.
Okay. So though we have a situation, all these things are very important to us. And yet, okay, and yet you're not enjoying them right now. Okay. So the question is, what is stopping you? Okay. So just type into the chat box, what are these things that's stopping you from getting what you want most in life?
Yourself, time, finances,
Okay.
avenues for revenue,
Okay.
time, money, and opportunity.
Okay. So, you know, again, you know, I've been in BNI, actually, I've been in BNI for what, 20 years now. I've worked with, you know, thousands and thousands of people around the world. What I do in BNI is I go around the world conducting training. I'm a national director for Thailand and the Philippines. And I've also started, you know, BNI in Vietnam and Korea, okay? So as I go around, you know, the world conducting trainings, you know, I find that, you know, the two main reasons, okay, the two things that people need most to get what they want in life. The first one is clarity. If, you know, people want a lot of things, but when you sit down and what do you call it, drill a bit deeper, quite a few people don't have the clarity. They don't know exactly what they want. Today they want this, tomorrow they want that. So they're never ever working on a consistent path towards what they want most in life. Okay, so having clarity is important, and the other one is a roadmap. You need to have a clear direction, clear system, clear process to get you to where you want to be in life. Okay, so these are the two most important things for you to be able to achieve what you want most in life. Is this making sense? If this is making sense, can you type a yes into the chat box? Okay.
Tons
Very
of
good.
yeses.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Kathy, you're saying?
Tons of yeses. Yep.
Oh, so yes. Okay, good. Okay. So the second thing, okay, I was told I've got about 12 minutes. Okay, so the second thing I'll talk about is business, right? So why are you in business? Can we just type the answers in there into the chat box? Are there any answers coming in, Kathy?
Yep. To impact my world, passion, fulfillment, survival, money, and passion to help others make an impact.
Okay, you know, it's good. I mean, I'm seeing very altruistic answers, okay? Very high level answers. But if you were to ask, you know, what's the main reason you're in business? What's the most basic, okay? And if you drill down, it's basically to be able to feed ourselves and our family, isn't it? Can you resonate with that? Do you feel that that's, you know, primarily, you know, that's one of the primary reasons why we're in business? And it's only after when we are able to feed ourselves and our family that we start thinking about helping the community, impacting lives, and so on. Is this making sense?
Yes.
Have a yes, okay? Right, okay, right. So is it right to say then the purpose of your business is to generate cash flow for you and your family to live on? Is that correct? If you think it's correct, just type a yes answer. And I should say quite a few yeses coming in, right,
Yes.
Kathy?
Yeah, quite a few yeses.
Yeah, okay, right. And if your answer is yes, this could be the reason why you're feeling a bit stressed, especially now in challenging environments. Gee, I can
Yes.
see the funny faces or the perplexed faces, right? So, if the whole purpose of doing business is to feed ourselves and our family, and yet it's causing stress, what does that mean? Okay, right. So the question is this, okay? If your business, if you're to go out of business tomorrow, what impact will it have on you and your family? So what would the answer be? Okay, you can put a one-word answer: drastic, catastrophic.
Huge, drastic. Yep.
Yeah. So those are the typical answers, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's because there is a direct connection, okay, between our business and being able to feed our family. And all of us take the fact of feeding our family very serious. Therefore, the minute our business is in trouble, we feel that life gets out of control, okay, and that's the biggest cause of stress, right? So I'm gonna ask you, okay, just throw in a number, okay? How long will you be able to maintain the same lifestyle for you and your family if your business will go out? You go out of business tomorrow. Okay, put it in terms of months. Okay, right. So what sort of numbers are we saying, Kathy?
12, 36,
Okay,
6,
so
0.
we are definitely dealing with very successful people here who've already got some plans, because the typical answer is between 3 to 6 months. Okay, most business owners can last between 3 to 6 months. Why? Because normally in business you have got a little bit of surplus. Whereas if you ask this question to employees, the typical answer is about 1 to 3 months. Okay, right. So this is when I learned this major this mindset shift was a major turn in my life. Okay, so we got to learn this. Okay, the purpose of our business is not to generate cash flow to live on, but it's to generate a cash flow for us to develop assets that produce passive income for us and our family to live on. If you look at the chart on the right, okay, this is how the wealthy people live their lives. Okay, whatever income they get from their business or from their job, they put into assets, and the assets would generate more income, and they're always increasing their income, decreasing their expenses, and decreasing the liability. So they work on this cycle of turning their income into assets to generate more income. Okay, and all of us dream of financial freedom. So financial freedom is when your passive income from your assets exceed the total of your expenses plus liabilities. How many of us would like to live a life like this? To be financially free, never ever have to worry about your next meal, or being able to pay the bills, or being able to feed our family. Okay? If this is important to you, I can identify that. Tap a yes, okay? Tap a yes, okay, into the chat box, okay? Right. Good. Okay, so with this awareness now, let us all focus in terms of our business to be creating assets that will continue to give us passive income, and not just live off the business to feed ourselves and our family. Get this intermediate step, right? And the last one, I'm just going to share about classical music. Okay, when you think about classical music, is this what you sort of picture? An orchestra, a conductor in a pretty grand setting? If this is what you picture, type the answer yes, okay, into the chat box. So what sort of answers are we getting, Kathy?
Yeses. All
Okay,
yeses.
lots of yeses, right?
Mhm.
So Kathy, I mean, I definitely know that you are in the music sphere. Is music static?
No.
Okay, and I like the idea about you were talking about patronage just now, about how to get involved with orchestras where we can co-market on a win-win basis. That's exactly what we all need to do. Okay, because music isn't static. So what I want to share with you is a friend of mine. Okay, so of course in the pandemic, she's got challenges as a musician, trying to get work, being able to perform, and so on. Okay, so her name is Wendy, and she's just in this current challenge, she started a music school called You Can Play Piano Anywhere, or yeah, Piano Anywhere. Okay, and she created this video. And this video went viral.
Sì, non c'è bene.
So what do you think? Write some thoughts into the chat, okay? After watching this short, 60 seconds video clip, what do you think about music now? How do you enjoy this video? What thoughts do you have? And Kathy, can you just help me
I'm
read them out?
creative, flexible.
Yeah, okay. So, people who are involved in music are generally very creative people, isn't it? Kathy, you must give a resounding yes to that.
Yes.
And as business people nowadays, we can no longer be static because the world has changed. In the last, I would say 1.5 years, business has transformed. If you are not doing like what the things that Kathy is doing, getting yourself engaged in the digital space, you could end up being a dinosaur, right? Okay. Yeah. So definitely music is everywhere, and we've got to be creative, and we definitely have got to think out of the box. Okay. If I actually have got a time, I know I'm running out of time, I could show you actually how to become a millionaire just by learning how to do backflips. This guy who could do backflips, earn $1 million just by this one action. Okay. So if you want to find out more, I'm running a little program together with Kathy, on showing people how to work 20 hours less and become 10 times wealthier, because successful people, they don't work hard. They work less to earn more, okay? Because working hard is not the secret to success, okay? And so this is the event that Kathy and myself is putting on next week, okay? So you can take out your phone and take a picture of the QR code. If you are not sure about how to use the QR code, just take a picture, and that's the website, okay?
It's
Right.
also, his LinkedIn is on his picture. Literally, you can click on his picture on the webpage I just sent. It'll take you to his LinkedIn, and there's the event. Okay,
Okay,
awesome.
yeah. And if you want to do awesome things like this, go talk to Kathy, okay? Right, and that's it, okay? So thank you very much.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Kathy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, YP. Our next special guest, we have people literally from all over the world today. Our next special guest is Colin from South Africa. Colin and I have been working together, and he has inspired me so much in so many things. And Colin, I just wanted to tell you before you started speaking, the video promotion that you made for this event today, people just watched it like this. I showed it to so many people in the orchestra, and they watch it and they're like, "Oh, that's your name. Wow, you're in the video." It was just so amazing to have a video like that, to have someone's name actually show up in it. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. Is my screen showing?
Your screen is showing, you're good.
Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody. Great to meet you all. So my name's Colin Horner. I call myself the explainer guy, and the guy who I've sketched there, he's a BNI member in Gozo, Malta, called me this. He said, how do I explain you? I am, by the way, a BNI member and a BNI director. He said, the best way I can explain you is say you are the explainer guy, because you simplify things and you explain them in simple visual ways. So I want to tell you a bit about my life. My life, when I think about music, my whole life has been music, and it has been the food of my life when I think about it, because I was brought up and educated, and this is my very simple sketch, very rough sketch of the Pierhead at Liverpool, UK. And I was born and brought up and traveling on ferry across the Mersey while I listened to the Beatles and I listened to Jerry Marsden, etc. And in fact, when I I graduated in engineering from Liverpool University, but at the rag ball, I happened to, the Beatles, before they were famous, were playing at our rag ball, and I, in a very drunken state, fell over Ringo Starr's drum. And I won't tell you what Ringo Starr said to me at the time, but that's the only time I've met the Beatles. So music has been in my life, and I've used it to, as I went through my life, and I've graduated way away from my engineering degree into what I call visual communication. And this has come about largely as a result of BNI, because when I dedicated myself to not dedicated myself to BNI, I got dedicated or bought into the model, which was about 6 or 7 years ago. I took on the role of an education coordinator, and I thought, well, if I'm going to communicate and educate people about BNI, I'd better learn it myself. So I started studying the BNI model, and I started trying to communicate it. And the best way I could communicate it was in pictures. And don't ask me where it's come from, because I've never had an art lesson in my life. But I started to sketch pictures, very, very quick pictures. And this came about as a sketch from my engagement with Kathy. But in fact, the pictures helped me to remember things. And in classical music terms, I remember 30 odd years ago being very privileged to go to the opening night of the main season at La Scala Milan, December the 7th, Sant'Ambrogio Day, to hear Placido Domingo sing in a 5-hour opera, Parsifal. So, but with my background from the Beatles, I also follow rock music. So I've used pictures and I've used music to educate myself and to help me grow and learn as a person, and then try and communicate to other people. This is my picture, by the way. I happen to believe, let me just, Mr. YP Lai might be interested in this. I happen to believe that BNI is going a bit wrong at the moment, because there's something called intrinsic and extrinsic learning. Intrinsic learning is when you learn by getting on a skateboard and falling off and getting back on. Extrinsic learning is when you learn from books. My personal opinion is BNI is pushing too much book learning at the moment, but so be it. So that's been my history: music, thinking creatively, thinking in pictures, and trying to communicate. And in thinking about talking to you today, what am I? I'm actually an accompanist in the music terms, in that I put myself in a position where I literally sketch and explain and translate, oops, let me go back a bit, translate what other people, performers, speakers, trainers, coaches, musicians are trying to communicate. I'm steeped in BNI, so I'm steeped in Giver's Gain, and I want to now, at this stage of my life, be able to give back. And what strikes me is that I could help to bring, as an accompanist, a network together, a network of artists who have a talent. It was very interesting to hear Lee's opening and related to me. Artists who have talents and want an outlet. Sponsors, funders, and high net worth individuals maybe who want to be the audiences to these things, and companies who want to promote and sell their products and bring these sort of three communities together, bonding a universe. And I use this very innovative, this is a 3D mind mapping program that I'm demonstrating from. So my proposal or my suggestion would be that we exactly as you brought this community together, that we collaborate, that we combine our skills, experience, knowledge, and that we bond a universe together, a network, as BNI would say. And this is what I want to do. I'm sitting in Johannesburg, South Africa. I'm not very good at reaching out into the world for a number of reasons. So if you can help me help you bring this community together and accompany your messages, your communication to your markets, to your sponsors, to your audiences, and I can get artistic satisfaction from it, that would be heaven on earth for me, nirvana. So that's my story. I'm steeped in communicating with pictures, with music, to give people experiences, memories, emotions that make them successful and happy. I'm Colin, the explainer guy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Colin. That was amazing. And right after what Colin just showed, I want to show the power of what music can do very quickly here. So I'm just going to change my background a little. Give me 1 second. Okay. And I'm going to put sound to it. Now, anything I say has to go with that. Okay? Music is emotion. It can give fear. It can give happiness. It can give excitement. It is such an integral part of us that we don't really realize. When we go to a movie, there's probably 15 seconds of the movie that does not have music in it, that's not expressing the music under the emotion underneath it. So this is also something when people are doing marketing, how many videos are out there that don't have some type of music underneath them? It's a completely necessary part of what we're doing. And next up, I did this actually for a reason, is Philip. You there, Philip?
Yes, I am here.
Now that I have your attention. Good day to everyone from all over the world. My name is Philip Kraft from sunny South Africa. Welcome to the Golden Globe Awards for Best Classical Music in a Movie. I am going to announce the nominees and winner of Best Ever Theme Song in a Movie. We have seen over the years how classical music has been the big emotional connector in terms of iconic movies, sparking some emotional connections when we hear the songs from a time in our life when we watched the movie, and the way the movie made you feel. Songs that make you feel awesome. Songs that make you feel sad. Songs that make you want to go boom, chi, boom, boom, chi, boom, chi, boom, boom, chi. Get ready for awesomeness. Here are your nominees.
Okay, so the nominees I got.
That's great.
And recognize the song. Okay, so that was this is John Williams. This is from Jurassic Park. Does anyone know the song? Where does this come from? You can put it in the chat there if you guys know.
I know it, but I can't put a name to it. Yeah.
So this is Yes, Captain America. It's the Avengers theme song.
Avengers.
Here's this one. Ah, yeah, Mission Impossible. There we go. This one might be a bit harder. Yes, Batman. There we go. I should know this one. Yeah, E.T. There we go. It was also John Williams. John Williams did a lot of good work, eh? Yes. Raiders. Indiana Jones. Yeah, Back to the Future. And the winner is yeah, Star Wars. Good. I'm sure you guys could feel the music.
I want to tell you something.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I wanted to tell you something that when he and I were talking yesterday about doing this, he said, but I don't really, I don't really know that much about classical music. And then he just stopped and he said, wait, Darth Vader likes orchestras. And that was that. And the whole conversation came out of that one thing. How many of you did not know the orchestra pieces that were just played? So this is how much orchestra music is actually part of what we do. So I'm going to send you all off into breakout rooms right now after that. So now that thank you so much. Now that you feel inspired by these first three people to talk about how much we could do just as a tool, how much we could do with the sounds that you just heard and the ideas that you just had. So I'm going to I'm going to recreate the rooms here, make 7 rooms, and we'll see you back here in 5 minutes.
Hey, Kathy, Lakshmi here. Thank you so much for the invite. I'm so happy to be here.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, we'll connect more.
Thank
I'll
you.
join the breakout room and come back.
Okay. Welcome back, everybody. Does anyone have anything they'd like to comment about their breakout rooms?
That we are from everywhere in the world. There's a very international audience in this group, I must say.
Well, actually, I'll tell you something a little personal about myself. When COVID started, I didn't realize how much my past would come in handy here because my grandfather was English, my great grandmother was Dutch, my aunt and uncle are German, and the person who brought me up was Vietnamese, and another person who lived in our house for many years was from Iran. So you put me basically anywhere in the world and I really feel at home. And so when COVID started and I could Zoom, it was kind of like going home to an awful lot of places. It was really amazing. So Stefan, you're up, and I hope that everyone is ready for your talk because this whole thing has been in a way building up to what you have to say. So the stage is all yours.
Ah, perfect. Thank you so much for having me back and talk about this opportunity. So for those of you I haven't met so far, I'm Stefan Haynes. I'm Swedish, but I live in southern Spain in a place called Costa del Sol. And We're trying to get into summer now. Anyway, I work for a Swedish foundation called VEO, and it stands for Value Each Other. And we have built an online service with a mobile app that is protecting copyrights and are paying out 90% of the revenue to the content provider. So you may, why are you doing this? So the past 25 years, they have told us it's free on internet. We, of course, all know that's untrue. There is nothing in life that is free. It's just someone else paying. So we already seen the movement from 15 years ago when we all stole movies, online, and now it's subscriptions. The same with the music has gone into different subscription models. We've seen all the newspapers, they tried out for many years being able to fund their business with advertising. It didn't work, and they are now a subscription. So there are many different companies that offer, payment platforms for all type of content. And actually, according to a survey called Strata, last year, 65% of the world's population and even 90% of Generation Z are willing to pay for subscriptions. And the main reason for that is convenience and to get access to unique content. Another big driver here is also the big concern of personal data and how that is today sold to third parties. So I guess in this forum, I believe there are quite few artists and content creators that would like to monetize their creations better. So even if there are many options out there, all of them are companies. And they are, of course, focusing on revenue and dividend, and that's their first priority. And so far, I have not heard or seen any of these companies living by the philosophy and purpose that we in VEO are doing. So for the past 4 years, we developed and set up this structure, which is totally unique. So our purpose here is to create a better world for the future generations of content creators and letting them keep their copyright and at the same time protect the subscribers and their rights as well. So this is a subscription sponsorship platform that will facilitate you to monetize your content. So VEO is not here to copy something that already exists. We are here to give back the ownership and copyright to the creators on a global scale. So we do that by putting 90% of our revenue in a non-for-profit foundation that will pay for every click in real time in local currency globally. So we're right now in the last 3 to 4 months of beta testing. We're planning to launch somewhere around September this year. So the reason why I am here is Kathy invited me, of course, but also to connect to you who wants to be, want this to be successful, that wants a platform that pays 90% towards you. So if you want to play a part of this, there are many different options. It's a sponsorship, there are investor possibility, there are content creators, of course, that we want, or a partner to represent us in your expertise area or geography. So I was asked before this also to mention this, how this current sponsorship program actually works. And it starts from only €1,000 or $1,200. So it's not, we are looking for 1,000 people that spends $1,000 rather than one guy with $1 million, because this is truly a grassroots movement. So anyone who wants to be a part of this and sponsor this also get 50% discount on the IPO that we're doing next year. Just to be clear, we're not selling out the foundation. What we're putting on the market is only the 10% that we take to run the platform. That's what we're putting on the stock market. The foundation is protecting your copyright for 800 years. So we are listing us on the stock market only to be transparent, to keep your content safe. So my question is, of course, who do you know who would like to get better paid for their work online? That's me, Stefan Hintz from VEO. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. The reason that I really, really like what he's talking about is he didn't once mention starving artists and people who are looking for things. He just said, this is your content and you want to get money for it. And this is what we should be. This is what we really, really should be. Mike, I'm putting you on the spot here, but would you please just talk for like 2 minutes and tell us what your daughter's up to and how she's also.
How did I know you were going to put me on the spot? Thank you, Kathy. You're a naughty girl. Anyway, good afternoon, everybody. As you can see, I'll try and move to one side. I don't know which side I'm going to do. Let me move my machine. Right. My daughter, 15 months ago, was running a choir business in the UK, providing people with no musical background at all an opportunity to sing contemporary songs and be sociable. Then COVID hit. And immediately, as Kathy knows, all musicians know, live performance just disappeared. It literally just shut. So she had to find a way of keeping her members and, more importantly, keeping her community together. So she created her choir online from scratch with her fiance, and they basically created a virtual choir, which was all the same, but with one physical difference. You had to sing in isolation. So instead of singing as a community, she had to actually broadcast from our home and actually teach people and provide all the online support. And she's done that. And she's kept all her members. And in fact, she's now got members in about 8 or 9 countries who found out about it and joined. And she's managed to keep her subscription model going. The key here, and this is why this is important, you can reach anybody. What COVID has taught us out of a bad situation is that you can innovate, you can pivot, and you can create value, and you can create a community, and you can do that just by doing what you do, but doing it virtually. And one of the things I know that that my daughter Jenny and Kathy are working on is actually to create the learning in a lockdown scenario or in a virtual scenario, and then bring the magic in person eventually, so that you can still be taught, so you can still get the choir experience, and they piece all the work together. So they get people to sing songs, it's properly taught, 4-part harmony, words, music, tutorial. She's created an entire online content and kept the costs the same for everybody, so that she can then enable more people to benefit, so that when they come together, it's just like being in person, and they've had the training in person. So you can find ways around it. And the fact that you can actually then put it out on different platforms that actually recognize and pay people. I mean, her members pay for the privilege of being taught, and they love it. And she's grown her numbers. She wants to grow around the world. And this is an opportunity to do that. And more importantly, to engage with, and this is the key piece with Kathy, engage and cross over into classical music, work with orchestras, perform live. The choirs perform live, it's not a problem. The issue is sustaining that knowledge and the learning and the training through lockdown. So she's managed to do it. So it is possible to keep people well, sane, healthy, and in a community, and get the benefit of music, and then share that with everybody else. So I think that's all I want to say. I don't want to say too much more, but that model is really a membership subscription model. But if you can perform and then create wealth for other people, and a lot of her money that she earns, she gives to charity. She gives about 20% of what she earns to charity. That's her long-term aim. It's to make people happy and to benefit other people in the process. Okay, so I think that's enough.
Thank you so much. I just want to read why his daughter is not here today because she said she had a ton of work this week because she did a virtual cycle to raise money for 4 children's charities. It was her 3rd time and her fiance's first time, and they raised £1,400 this week for those charities, and that's why she's not here today. And she says hello to everybody, and it's unbelievable that, first she saved herself, and now she's helping people within a year and a half.
Yeah, and she did it cycling. She cycled about 200 miles. She does love heavy metal music as well as loving the classical stuff. So she's played Glastonbury, and she cycles for what's called the Heavy Metal Truants Charity, and they raise money for several children's charities. So it's, rock music does have a heart. It's just that people don't see it.
Music has a heart. People just don't see it in general. Yeah. Thank you so much. That was amazing. So the next person up is one of the people who's actually the reason that we're here. Charles, are you there? You're up.
I'm here. Thank you for demuting
Awesome.
me. Okay, well, welcome everybody. I'd like to thank Kathy for her inspiration, her constant focus, hard work, and creativity making this project work. Okay, I'm a professional singer and a music teacher, singing teacher as well, and a vocal coach. So my take on this whole thing is my immediate contacts are musicians and venues in the UK and Ireland and musicians in mainland Europe. What I've learned in recent weeks is that right now, venue owners and managers of hotels and restaurants in particular are looking to get bodies in beds and bums on seats. They're keen to look at new ideas to generate custom, but currently they only want to generate turnover as traditionally and simply as possible. For us as professional musicians and supporters of professional musicians and music, that means we have a little time to form good performing relationships with 1 or 2 others. And I say that because whether we're jazz or classical musicians, we need to be working on small ensembles and repertoires, and pianists in particular, be prepared to hone your electric keyboard skills. I know, but we well know that there are very few venues and concert halls that have decent pianos. That's a scarcity and something we have to accommodate as we develop. So my simple message today is, please develop some good working relationships and start rehearsing a flexible and broad repertoire to perform at short notice. Then please come to our next session. Hopefully there will be further relaxation of global constraints and we'll be poised to perform. Thank you all. Charles Luxford, professional singer and vocal coach.
That was fantastic. That was wonderful. And I would just like to add one quick thing to what Charles just said, that here in Mexico, we've been doing this for a while because Mexico loves classical music. And so we've had to have electric pianos all over the place for the longest time. We actually use the electric piano for publicity. And so we make, I don't know the word in English, we make cloths with the publicity of the person who's patronizing the event, with a very tasteful, so we'd have like a kind of Baroque background with the name of the person who's patronizing. So through the whole concert, you have this really nice patronage within the scenery, which is pretty amazing. Thank you. That was wonderful. And you're really one of the biggest reasons that we all are here today. So next up is Dan. Dan, are you here?
I am, Kathy. This has been awesome. I'm just amazed, and thank you for putting this together. So I want to go a little bit ethereal on us, and what do we as musicians or people that support musicians, what are our superpowers? And I think our superpowers are the marrying of the left brain and the right brain, the creative piece that when you study music and when you study music theory, it creates an understanding of the world that non-musicians may or may not have. I just say that the music piece of this allows us to work into how we impact our world. So the application of creative systems is an absolute game changer. When you understand the systems of music, I remember I'm a classically trained pianist, started when I was 8 years old, took lessons up until I was my early 20s. I've been in front of the camera, behind the camera, played for jazz bands, played major works, played for chorales. So music has been a part of my life, and I appreciate all kinds of music. I appreciate rock and roll. I appreciate classical. sometimes country and Western. Okay, maybe country and Western. However, I did not take a music theory class until I was a freshman in college. So everything I learned was from a technical standpoint up until that point in time. Then music theory and the circle of fifths, and all of a sudden the composition piece was the key that unlocked and unleashed their creativity. And it was to make arrangements. It was to write some songs. Not that they went anywhere, but it was the idea that I had the power to do that if that's what I chose to focus on. And it was it was a game changer for how I lived my adult life because of the systems that were in place. And it gave a construct of communication. I actually have, I'm going to share the screen just momentarily. I actually have a business talk that I actually made that says, run your business like a symphony. And I won't just explode this mind map. It is very detailed. And I always love to talk to people that have had classical music or music training and are wanting to open a business, because I am able to share with them how they can draw the inferences, the references to the different pieces of a symphony. So putting the parts together, and this is where it will absolutely how you make and draw people into a bass, the percussion, what that looks like, how you absolutely can draw this to business systems. And it's just amazing to me. And so we're talking about knowing our role. And you notice right here, I've got patron, I've got promoter. Are you the composer? Are you the conductor? Are you a musician? And I always tell people the most disrespected person, the most underestimated, is the music librarian for an orchestra, because they can actually make your life a living hell because they control the music. They control what we're playing at the time. And so anyway, that's what I want to, that's what I wanted to share. Music is frequency. I always ask the question, what is the universal truth of music when it comes to a symphony? And the universal truth is A equals 440. A equals 440. Without that tuning fork, the symphony would not be able to perform at its highest level. And yes, I know there's 428, and I know about 578 and 530. I know all about all the frequencies. Life is frequency. And not to get way down in the depths, but I've been studying a little bit about toruses and toroidals and quantum physics. Music is frequency. Communication is frequency. And what we are putting out into the world, and Dr. Anna Lee, you'll appreciate this because it gets into the metaphysics part of life. And when we see that we're all related and everything relates to our existence is frequency. So anyway, now I've kind of gone down a rabbit trail of ethereal stuff, but I want to let you know it's all impactful. And to take our superpower as musicians and as business owners, to take that and be able to make those connections back and forth is our superpower. So my advice today is go use your superpower for good and impact everyone around you. Even if they don't appreciate or understand music, use that for good to impact your world. That's all I got, Kathy.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely amazing. That was wonderful. Thank you. Just quickly to touch on one thing that he said. He was trained as a classical musician as a kid. And I would like to ask you, if you're still there, how much that impacted your entire life?
Music impacted my life. I can't begin to explain. I can't imagine my life taking the track that it did without music. It was the constant through celebrations, through tragedy. I lost my mom when I was a senior, just graduated as a senior in high school. Music, and we talked about this in our breakout room a while ago. Music can set the mood for good or for bad. I mean, for positive energy, for negative energy. I use music every single day. When there's no one else in the house, the music may or may not get quite loud here at my desk if I'm not on a call. I use music in my meetings. I use it to make an impact and to use the pattern interrupt of music to help set the mood and to encourage people as they move forward with the challenges of life as we are all traveling down this bumpy road together. Thanks, Kathy, for asking.
Thank you. And now I want to say something. I think all of you feel the same way that he does. How many of you go through a day without listening to something? Right? And then let's just go back to Stefan. It's a business. It's so much a part of our life that we really feel that it's free, right? If you take away the music, if you had taken away music during quarantine, what would it have been like? And this is something that art is not a money bucket. Art is not something that you go off and you say, oh, I'm going to donate to it today. Art is something that helped us survive the last 15 months. And not to say it's a necessity, just imagine if we could take advantage as business people of something that helped us survive the last couple months. That's a huge, huge, huge opportunity. So Pierre Pino, it's all up to you.
So I want to start off with one thing, and I want to come back to what Dan said. Dan, I was missing one person in your chain in the music, and it was the sound engineer. Because in everything that you're doing, it all comes down to that engineer that it eventually is going to record, mix, and master that whole track. So choose the right microphone, choose the right program, choose the right reverb, add whatever necessary to make that track perfect and make that track on its own stand out how it should be and how the artist wanted it to be. And today I'm coming from that standpoint of view to talk to you about the sound and about the music. So music has, of course, influenced my life a lot. I was, born in a family that has been putting music on in the background all day, constantly, and I've been influenced by music from all different styles possible, from classic to rock to, I would say the music, EDM music of today. And it brought me to make my life, my work from my passion. So I did a sound engineer education, electronic music production as well. And what hit me the hardest in everything is that, like everyone has been saying today on this call, is that music can touch your emotions. And it's actually music that's able, or sound in general, but I would say music and like Philip showed us as well, is that can be iconic and can bring us back to certain emotions. When I watch all of you, your emotions, your reactions when you put on those iconic classical pieces, is that everyone reacted to the emotion that they had to that movie, to what they were looking at. And what was really important in that is that everything, all of these productions were made brilliantly. And that's what I want to come back to today, is that what I noticed a lot in COVID and that triggers me the most is that more and more people started to go online and did online conferences, live streams, and due to the digitalizations of everything, everyone is able to do that. The only difference where I saw between the people that were educated right about it is the quality of the performance and the quality of the way they brought the content. So my goal became as a sound engineer because I know that I cannot reach everyone and help everyone myself with their productions. But my goal was mostly to educate everyone the importance of sound quality and what you do with it, not only in music, but also when you do presentations. For instance, here today in Zoom, now I'm using a specific microphone to talk to you guys, but if I switch back to the phone of my computer, sound completely different. And that's the thing that you want, is that when people listen to you and you're presenting something, you're creating something, it's all about the quality of the connection you create. And it's the same here now. You can really connect with me just by upgrading one little thing. Adding a microphone to my system, a good microphone, helps already a lot. And it's the same for the musicians. I see a lot of musicians that work on certain budgets, and you can actually, with a small budget, already enhance a lot of things just by having the right knowledge how to use that equipment and how to use that microphone. It can be a microphone that costs $50 or $100, or I can use a microphone that is $2,000-$3,000. I can achieve something very similar in quality, but by using it correctly and by having that knowledge. And so that's why I created, so my company is called Sonata Productions, and I do audio recording, mixing and mastering on all different fields, mostly for movies and films, but also for classical music. And I created the Sonata Academy, where I teach entrepreneurs, I teach everyone that makes and creates audiovisual content, going from a podcast to music to online courses, how to invest and how to get the right knowledge around sound and for their own audiovisual project. So depending on their budget, knowing what gear to invest in and how to use that correctly and efficiently. And I'd love to collaborate a lot with all musicians all over the world to educate them and to help them to achieve that sound quality that really is impactful. And for that, I want to give a little and show you guys a little example of a recording I made for one of the classical ensembles here in Belgium, just to show you what you can achieve.
Can you just put this in the chat and I will put it on the page so everyone can have it?
Sure, I'll share the links as well. Of course, this goes on for 8 more minutes, and I'm not going to take that time for you guys, but it's just to show that for this, we used 3 microphones in a total budget around $600, and you can achieve a huge sound quality just by knowing how to use it correctly and to mix it correctly. So everyone that you know that is making audiovisual content and that wants to enhance their sound quality and touch their audience better, please introduce me to them. I'd love to help them. I'd love to see how I can, help them better their quality and achieve more. And I'd love to connect to you all if you want to learn more about sound quality, and how to improve everything. Thank you, Kathy. You're muted, Kathy. We can't hear you.
But thank you so much, Pino. That was amazing. One of the most unique things about music is it's the only art that's measured in time. When it ends, it ends. Okay, so it brings you to it in a very different way. Just as a Zoom call is. I mean, once the Zoom call is done, we can have pictures of it, we can have something of it, but the feeling that we had and how we were as people within this is gone. It's in our minds. It's not actually here anymore. And this is why it was very important for me to have all of you see each other and not have slides and have us feel how each of us are as people. Because I think that's something we haven't lost. I think we've used Zoom in a way that could be enhanced on it. And I think artists can help us enhance this part of our new experience. I'm going to send you all now into one last breakout room to talk about everything that you felt right now. And remember, everything that you're feeling right now, this is a business, but it's one of the most amazing businesses in the world. And it can be used by any other business. And you can do amazing things with the things that you've seen right here. So I'm going to send you all into breakout rooms. Let's make this a little longer. Let's just say 10 minutes, and we'll see you back in 10. Well, as everyone's coming back in, I'd like to ask people if they had comments about their breakout rooms or things in general today.
Yes,
Okay.
I do. I love a passion that you bring to this, and every episode has done some really extraordinary things to bring a different element to the discussion. So thank you to all of you who prepared to be able to speak to this thing. I brought this up in the meeting rooms, and I'll just bring it up to everyone here. It occurs to me that 400 or 500 years ago, people would commission artists to do things. A king would commission a sculpture or a painting or a symphony, and that person would take months or sometimes years to be able to produce that. And I don't often see commissioned works in the corporate space. Now, I'm certain they do exist and probably not as prevalent as there once was, but perhaps there's more prevalence that can be given to commissioned works. It's just something that occurred to me, and I'll just bring it out to the rest of the group.
And it's very interesting that you say that, because we as musicians, we remember the people who commissioned. And so the work will say for all posterity, this piece of work was commissioned by so-and-so. And in all the museums, you always have it like that. Even the Beethoven symphonies, it always says who was commissioned. And so you remember the person 200 years later because they commissioned a Beethoven quartet, which is very funny. I mean, we even know how the patron for Haydn died because of Haydn, because he was there. That's a really interesting point. Yeah, it's a real
Charles talked to that in our breakout room. It's amazing the patronage or sponsorship or whatever you want to call it, Kathy, to figure out how to increase our impact and who we can bless and who can we take the message out and absolutely help raise the bar for whoever that we're in contact with. It was awesome. We had a great discussion in our room.
Thank you. That's wonderful. I would just say that, patronage now is digital. So someone who patronizes something musical will have their name on something that can go viral, which is also an unbelievable thought. And I will go back. And this is something that I really very strongly believe in now, is using your backgrounds. You go back to this. 20,000 people saw this month. And it stays there forever. And it's an amazing thing that's happening there. And this is something that's not being taken advantage of. And this is why I wanted to get you guys all here today. Pierre, you wanted to say something before we did our closing remarks?
Yeah, so what I wanted to add as well is that there is a lot of opportunity now to incorporate music into all different kind of projects. In a sense, what I can share from what I'm doing right now myself is that I'm organizing a live stream event in the north of the Netherlands, where it was actually at the basic focused on a culinary part. So it was actually the national culinary team of the Netherlands that were competing and doing a show. And I actually incorporated classical musicians and musicians in that show. So actually now there is a balance between both the culinary part and the musical part. So it means that in that show, in that live stream, there will be musicians playing and performing around those those cooks that will be creating culinary artistic pieces and combining that with musicians that will improvise on that as well, and combining those elements. And I think we can do that in a lot more situations and a lot more events. And I think if we all start to think creatively about solutions for that, we can both help. Because of course, the musicians we select, what we chose were brilliant musicians that have a lot of experience and known as well. And it means that actually the live stream has a possibility to get even more tickets sold and more participants participating, thanks to the audience that they're bringing in as well. Because now it's not just the culinary aspect that will attract people, but also the musical aspect that will attract people. And I think we can do that on all different type of events now. And I know that some countries are still getting hit hard by the COVID pandemic and still limited in things they can do. But in live stream events, you can do already a lot of these things, but both in live events as well. So I think we can think more about all the projects we are doing and how we can include music and musicians in that, to bring even more feeling and strength and value in the projects we're doing all together. So I would just wanted to share what I'm doing right now. It's just one of the idea. I'm developing a lot more things, and actually thanks to Caddy who inspired me to start doing that. But yeah, I want to inspire you all to do that as well, and to collaborate together to see how we can create such possibilities as well.
A normal typical, thank you so much, Pino. A normal typical orchestra has at least 15 different countries in it. This scene for me is normal. Every single day when I go to work, I hear, I don't know how many different languages. Okay. Music is a universal language, and it also can be universal publicity. And the only thing that is missing between us and you is the imagination to get us there. And that's why I brought all of you here together. I would like to say, first of all, thank you, Lee, for helping me do all of this. And thank you to Ascentive for being our principal patron. Also, I wanted to point out that the page that I made actually during this event, Pino's video is already on there, my WhatsApp link, it's been changing during this whole meeting. 74 people have seen that page already. And we're not even that many people here in this event. So people have been sending it out to other people. That's how powerful just a simple web page that I can make while I'm sitting here on Zoom can be. Okay, and I have another question for you all. How did it feel without so many slides?
Connected.
Exactly. It feels really different. And I have actually given classes on how to make the Zoom background part of you, so you can go changing it how you feel as you're going through the meeting, that it's not such a static thing, because this is part of our reality. We keep saying this is part of our new reality. Ugh. But this is part of our new reality, and this would never have happened before COVID. So let's make it really fun and different. And make it so that people want to put on their cameras, because people don't turn on their cameras because why? Why should they? They're going to be sitting in a corner. No one's going to see them anyway. But when you do it like this, people really connect, and more things come out of meetings when you've dressed yourself accordingly. It's like going to a ballroom gala. right? So with that, I'd like to say that Lee had a fantastic idea while you were all out in the breakout rooms. I'm going to open 2 groups. I'm going to open a group on Facebook, and I'm going to open a group on LinkedIn for your discussions, for ideas that you would have so you could bring more people. And also I've put on the bottom of the page that I've put out there, my WhatsApp, because it's much easier to find me on WhatsApp. If you have people who you think would be great to speak the next time will be exactly this Saturday, a month from now. I think that would be, give me a second, it would be the 3rd of July. And would anyone like to say anything before we end the session? Please go ahead. Laila Kishmi, go ahead.
Hi. So first of all, I'm so overwhelmed to see so many connoisseurs and musicians online. It's just great. And in the second breakout room, I had the opportunity, thanks to my friends out there who are with me, Annie and Milan, have I got the names right? To allow me to share Indian classical music with them. So thank you very much for that. An awesome space to be, Kathy. Kudos to you, more power to you. And let me know if I can be of any help to you in any way. I would love to do that for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. We're looking to inspire people. We're looking to make people give them a better life in their better and bad moments. And that's why we exist. So please bring your friends, please bring people who you think would like what we're doing. And we'd love to see you all again a month from now. Thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Lee, for organising.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye now.
Well,
Thank you.
enjoy your
Bye.
weekend.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Kathy. Cheers. All the best.
Thank you.